Raman Roy from New Delhi is CMD of Quattro BPO Solutions. Swaminathan Iyer of the Economic Times joins him from another location in New Delhi tonight. From Washington, D.C., Raymond Vickery, former Assistant Secretary of Commerce of the United States of America. My first question is to Ron Hira, who's an Associate Professor of Public Policy at the Rochester Institute of Technology. And Ron has written about this extensively in one of his books. The question is, I want to bring this down to basics, Ron. Indian viewers want to know today, what difference does it make whether the person who is taking the call is in where you are, Rochester, Rotterdam, or Rohtak? What difference does it make? Why does this bill say you have to disclose where the call is being received?
Well, I think it makes a difference from a consumer's perspective. And I don't see what harm that would do in terms of knowing where the call center's from, and that then allows the customer to make those choices.
What choices?
And they may choose a different vendor if they don't like the fact that that their customer support is coming from abroad. So I don't see that as being a big issue in any negative way at all. I mean, customers will vote for their feet.
Follow that up with you, Ron. You said said in your opening remarks, you said the customer can make choices depending upon where the call is being received. The question directly to you is, what difference does it make if the quality of the service they get, the information they are provided, is the same, unless the idea is to encourage some sort of racial prejudice, perhaps?
Oh, I don't know about the racial prejudice. I think what you're doing is you're giving the opportunity for customers to know who and where they're getting service from. And it could make some differences in terms of their concerns. Different customers have different preferences, and at least in the U.S., we've always had a principle of where customers get to choose who they want their vendor to be. We see this in the automakers, where lots of customers choose foreign cars, but certain customers prefer to buy domestically. And so this is really a choice by the customers, whether they're concerned about privacy issues, whatever it might be. They can make those choices. And there's been experiments that have been done where it shows actually most Americans don't care where the call center is located.
I want to draw in Raman Roy at this stage. Raman Roy, what do you think?
You know, I hear this. This is interesting. The car has a price tag, and the customer makes an informed choice to say, okay, this was made in America, this was not made in America, and I will exercise the choice based on the price and the quality that I get. A call typically does not have a price tag, but there is a price tag. Somebody has to pay the price for the differential in cost, for the differential in quality. We actually ran a test with a customer. We put on our form, this was for a lending product, I'm not at liberty to talk about the name of the customer. We put on the form that tick here if you can send this form to India for processing, we will turn it around in 24 hours or 48 hours. And tick here if you want this to be processed in US, it may take up to 10 days for it to be processed. 93% of the people send it to India. So when the customer exercises a choice, the consequences of that choice need to be known to the customer. If the customer is going to exercise a choice to say, I want this call to be taken out of United States, he must know that his credit card fee will go up, or his bills will go up, or something else will happen. So while we legislate, and while there is a desire to bring in this sort of a legislation, the aspect of who will foot the bill has through.
Yes, okay. Now, I want to get in Raymond Vickery at this stage. I mean, from many perspectives, Mr. Vickery, this does not make any sense. I repeat the question that I put to Ron Hira to you. Why would any American want to know whether the call that he has made, say to an insurance company, is being received in Rochester, Washington, Chennai, Mumbai, or Bangalore? What is the whole idea?
This is clearly a protectionist measure, but the sad thing is that the protectionism is not just on the U.S. side. It's on the Indian side as well. In 2009, facing the meltdown, both sides, U.S., India, agreed they wouldn't have any protectionist measures. Within 10 days, both sides put in protectionist measures. Indians raised tariffs on steel and soybeans. The U.S. had restrictions on H-1B visas, the use of foreign steel in stimulus projects. The sad thing is that when there is an economic stress, as there is in the system now, both sides, India and the U.S., resort to protectionist measures. And in my recent book, The Eagle and the Elephant, I point out that this can have very grave strategic consequences for relations between the U.S. and India. If you do not have this economic engagement, the free flow of services, and asking somebody where they are sitting is simply a way to be able to appeal to nationalistic kinds of prejudices, then the relationships between the countries are hurt. So I think it's a real problem. I don't think that you ought to treat lightly, and I'm glad the Indian press has not treated lightly this bill introduced by Congressman Tim Bishop. Fact is, that bill has no chance of being passed. It's by a minority member of the House of Representatives. He's not even on the committee which considers it. So that bill is not going anywhere. But the whole symbolism of what it means between the U.S. and India is very serious.
No, what it also means is that when the debate gets politicized, especially in election time, given the pressures that are there, given the sluggish economy, the pressures that are there on all political parties, it's not about who pushes for a bill, but the whole mood of protectionism which gets encouraged. Swaminathan Iyer, the point being made by Raymond Vickery there, protectionism is there on both sides, and we know it. We were very protectionist about FDI retail.
Absolutely. So, I mean, the issue is not a racialism at all. It is one of nationalism. The idea of, for instance, in India, the Swadeshi thing, which we swell with pride. The Americans are saying, in the case of call centers, we want our Swadeshi. Give a choice to have an American voice. However, Raman Roy is dead right. The truth is that the people who are going to oppose this measure tooth and nail will be every company saying, look, you are passing a law which obliges me to have an American standby for every Indian that I am employing. I mean, look at the huge, enormous waste. Secondly, it would be very, very difficult for any company to say, you know, if you listen to an Indian, I charge you less.
Exactly.
If you listen to an American, I charge you more. And yet, logically, that is the way it's going to go. Given what is happening, I simply say, you know, the damage to Indo-US relations I don't take too seriously. This is an election year in the USA. In an election year, you expect populism, you expect this business of Swadeshi, of buy local. I would say that the American industry itself will be so opposed to this particular thing, I do not think this bill will go through.
No, the bill won't go through, but the sentiment will prevail, Swami.
No, the sentiment is very much there that they are losing jobs to lower paid people and they find this unfair. It is no different from Indian industrialists constantly complaining that some of our manufacturing jobs are going away to China, and Mr. A.M. Nayak of Larsen & Toubro wants 20-25% duty on imports of Chinese equipment. So you are seeing these particular pressures. The pressures will be there in a slowdown, they will be there in an election year. We have to fess up to those. I will merely say that the longer term history suggests that the impact of this kind of populism, this kind of protectionism is muted. Thank God for that. I don't see signs of it getting much worse. I could be wrong, but I don't think this is going to go through. I don't think the mood is really going to get spoiled.
Ron Hira, let me come back to you. Yes, okay. Raman.
On the political
Raman,
rhetoric, Arnab,
yeah.
As a democracy, we understand the rhetoric. I mean, we are going through elections in few of our states, and we understand the rhetoric that the politicians are coming up with. It is similar rhetoric. As a democracy, we understand that. And, you know, it is just about the start of the election year. The election in the US is next year. Unfortunately, we're going to see a lot more of this. Will it become a law? No, it won't. I doubt if it will. But that doesn't stop the politicians from coming